talk about Trey Lance. That's the guy. It seems like it's been reported that the scouting staff likes. Mike Lombardi says the 49ers front office really likes Trey Lance. Why do you think that is? Why would they be more enamored by Lance than Jones in particular?
I do think that Trey Lance has the most potential out of those guys who will be available for the 49ers. But of course, that guy looks like the most boom or bust pick for me as well, because he played in the second division of college football. I don't really think that he proved himself that he can do everything a professional passer can do in the NFL or should do in the NFL. I like the guy. I do think that he is really, really great.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off. Sorry about that. It was just a good comment. Keep going about Lance.
He's athletic. He can do really great deep throws. He has some accuracy and timing problems with the short throws, but those are things that you can develop in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he progresses through his reads, and that's why I do think that he has the potential to be an NFL starting quarterback. But of course, we have seen guys like him fail in the NFL, and there's a huge chance that he will fail, almost equal chance of his failure, and he's being one of the greatest quarterback in the history of NFL.
Now, it's funny. The first thing you said was the potential. I think that's it right there. Yeah, we talked about a coach. Coach isn't thinking about potential, because a potential basically is like, oh, so I'm supposed to get that out of him. That's my responsibility. Everyone's projecting he's going to be great, and that's my job to coach it up. Like, oh, that sounds like a tough task. And if he fails, I fail, right? So a GM doesn't think that way. A GM isn't tasked. That's not his job to coach him up. It's like, hey, we hired you to be a good coach. I'm betting on the potential here. Absolutely. And I think the reason they look at Trey Lance, let's compare him to Justin Fields, because most people think most fans think it's between Justin Fields and Mac Jones. What if it's between Trey Lance and Mac Jones? Well, now you got to compare Lance and Fields. They're both great athletes, right? Yeah. Both great. I mean, who's better? Who's the more athletic quarterback? I don't know. They're both pretty similar. So it's kind of a draw in that respect. It seems to me that Fields is the more accurate thrower. His accuracy numbers are better. But as you mentioned, accuracy is something that you can coach, you can improve on. It's based on mechanics. It's largely dependent on who your receivers are, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So the thing that I feel like is the main difference why the Niners are pushing Shanahan to take a closer look at Lance is because of the mental game and the decision making. Sure, he's inexperienced, but what he did at 19, he operated a pro-style offense. He set the protections at the line of scrimmage, and he set the route combinations. They would say, hey, you pick out what you want these receivers to do on the backside, and you pick out the protection. And he was so good at it that he never committed a turnover. And he won the national championship at North Dakota State. So it seems like he has this ability to think for himself on a football field that very few quarterbacks coming out of college have. Most quarterbacks stand at the line of scrimmage. They let the defense declare what they're going to do, and then they look at the sideline and say, okay, coach, what are we doing here? And the coach says, okay, it looks like it's going to be cover 3 zone. All right, we're going to call this route combination, should beat it. All right, fine. And if the coach is right, the quarterback looks great. But if the coach is wrong and things don't go according to schedule, all of a sudden you see Justin Fields running around, throwing the ball up, getting intercepted. You don't see clips like that from Trey Lance. And that's why I think that they're enamored with him, because from all reports, he's off the charts with the football IQ. Off the charts.
Well, to be honest, I do think that Trey Lance has one of the greatest instincts from a quarterback that I have seen in the past few years. He is so natural at the position. Of course, he's raw in some parts of his game, but I do think that guy has huge potential. And if I were Kyle Shanahan, I would consider drafting Trey Lance instead of Mac Jones or Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, if those are the choices, if those are the three, I think Trey Lance has the most potential and is going to have the best career. He may not be the best quarterback of those three right now. I think you can look at his passing charts, his accuracy numbers down the field. There's some troubling stuff there. But that's You can improve that. Look at his resume compared to Carson Wentz's. Wentz went to the same school, was the number 2 pick in the draft. Lance was just better than him. In college. So, and then you look at his, come back to the athlete he is. People love Justin Fields and they love his arm, love his physique, how fast he is. Trey Lance is bigger than him. He's more elusive than him. I mean, he looks like a young Muhammad Ali right now. He looks supremely gifted. And all the reports of people say that, he's really smart. He had so much on his plate at North Dakota State. He really was running that entire offense, and look at the success he had. I mean, it's not like he was, calling like the wrong route combinations and throwing picks left and right. He was on it. He's intriguing. I think that's why the Niners can say, look, Kyle, I know you trust Mac Jones and you like his decision-making. What about this guy? You can't take fault with Trey Lance's decision-making. You can say he's inexperienced, but do you want 600 throws of Justin Fields at Ohio State? What experience is more valuable? 600 throws at Ohio State or 300 throws at North Dakota State running your own offense, a pro-style offense? What do you think of that?
Well, I do think that it's harder because I do think that Kyle Shanahan is so hard-headed in these things. I don't think that anyone can
sway him. Yeah.
So that's why I don't think that there's really a choice or anything that the front office can do against Kyle Shanahan's decision. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, but for a short-term deal, for a short-term option, I do think that Justin Fields or Mac Jones are way better choices than Trey Lance.
Right. If you want a quarterback playing next year, that's probably true. Probably true. I mean, Trey Lance has played. He had 1 year in high school, 1 year in college. He needs some time. But, we can talk about that in a little bit. Is there anything else you wanted to say about Trey Lance? I had something else I wanted to mention, but it's escaping me at the moment. The last thing with Kyle Shanahan. He's seen a lot of Mac Jones. Mac Jones was on television a lot. He could always say, you know what? There was just so little tape of Trey Lance. It was hard for me to have a strong opinion, get a read on him. It wasn't until I sent John Beck to work out with him for a few weeks and I saw him in person at the pro day that I really understood the complete package that he presented. And that's why I didn't make my decision up until the very end, because I just didn't have enough raw data on Trey Lance to make an informed decision. And I got it so late in the process. And it's been a hard year to scout because of the pandemic. And if that hadn't hit, he would have played last year and we would have known. It's possible Kyle could say that. Anyway.
Wow, that's so true. I have always problems with quarterbacks who doesn't have that kind of experience, which is needed when I try to evaluate their price. That's why I can say that truly that whichever team takes Trey Lance in the top 10 pick, it will be a reach.
Yeah, and you gotta be committed to developing him because he's not ready. Well, he could play right away. I don't know. Maybe he's so athletically gifted and brilliant that he can actually play right away and defy the odds. I mean, who knows? But wow, really, it would take a lot of guts to move up for the guy who played 1 season at North Dakota. It would take a lot of guts. But here's the thing: I wouldn't rule out the Jets from taking him. I've been thinking it for weeks. The guy who's making the pick in New York drafted Wentz. Trey Lance is a better player than Wentz. He's better.
Yeah,
he's better.
He's way better. I do think
he's better.
Just to answer Max Stahl, he said that we should draft me instead of Jones, Lance, or Fields. Well, if Niners interested in Botond to play in San Francisco, you should talk with my fiance.
Agent. Same thing.
Grant and East Bay Chris, because those guys are the quality control for the 49ers right now, and they have to agree with the choice.